Hello. Hello. Joel Rutherford coming at you from Plano, Texas. North Dallas, Prestonwood Christian Academy. This is the glory of my choir room here at Prestonwood Christian Academy. And I wanted to say happy anniversary to my parents. Happy anniversary. Wish I could be there with you. Obviously I can't. Lots of reasons why, not the least of which is this terrible COVID pandemic thing. What a pain in the rear that is. But it is what it is. And the border is starting to be a little more open, but it's not quite there yet. So anyways, hello to everybody that's there, gathered to honor my parents. Thank you for being there to celebrate. And on behalf of my family, Heather and Joshua and Grace, we wish we could be there to celebrate as well. But happy 60th anniversary to my parents. It's a tremendous accomplishment and a milestone. So proud of you and grateful for you and celebrate you today. And so in honor of my parents, I thought I'd tell a couple of stories. And I made some notes. So I'm going to start with my father just for fun because it's easy to tell stories about him. You know, my father's name is Gerald Lorne Rutherford. His father's name is Lorne. And when I was a child, growing up, 76 Craig Drive, every morning my father would get up, he'd go down to the bathroom, he'd flip on the light and he'd go, "Hello, Lorne." That was the signal that the day had begun. "Hello, Lorne," right? So that was his greeting to himself and the world each morning. "Hello, Lorne." And then I would get up as a little guy, right? And what I remember, the torment that my father would cause me. We had one bathroom. He would stand at the sink in the bathroom, and as I, a little guy, tried to walk by him to go to the bathroom or whatever I was trying to do, he'd raise his back leg. He'd raise the leg and block my way. Well, it was just too much for me to handle as a little guy. "Mom!" And I'd call Mom. She'd go, "Jerry!" You know, and he'd hassle me a little bit, and then he'd let me pass. But that was one of our morning rituals. Of course, the other bellow that my father is known for is if he's down in the back. No, we have an intercom system in our home, but why use the intercom when you can just bellow, "Ruth!" And that's what he would do all the time. And so we actually do that at our house here in the colony all the time. "Ruth!" That's kind of an homage to my father. And of course, she's got "Jerry," you know, she would yell back. But that was his siren wail to track down my mother. Of course, it's difficult to think about my father without thinking about machines. Things that run, that take gas and oil, and they have pistons and spark plugs and all the rest of it. He likes machines and mechanics and mechanical things. And so growing up at the house in Kitchener or at the farm, wherever it was, there were always a lot of machines involved. Lawnmowers and cars and trucks and tractors and chainsaws and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, if it had a spark plug and it needed the oil changed, my father was all in. Of course, my father, with his tremendous gift for repairing things, he would always buy crappy things because he knew he could fix them, which was the bane of my existence as a young man. He would buy a car that other people maybe would shy away from because he knew he could fix it, or he would buy a lawnmower, whatever it was. One of the admirable character qualities of my father. And anyways, but I will say this about my father. One thing you cannot deny him is the man's work ethic. And that's one thing that I'm most grateful for that I have received from my father is a great work ethic. And saw him work hard, worked hard with him, and really kind of took that with me into my adult life and working here at the school or at home or wherever it would be. So tremendous work ethic from my father and a great example for me growing up. So thank you for that and happy anniversary to you. Now for my mother, a couple of fun stories. I do remember one story when I was a little kid, and I think I had just started going to kindergarten. And I came home one day after kindergarten. My mother was, I can picture it, she's standing at the sink doing the dishes or whatever she's doing, looking out the window, and I'm sitting on the the stool behind her, and I'm telling stories, and in whatever I was talking about, anyway, I dropped a bad word into our conversation. It starts with an S and it ends with hit. And so I dropped that word, and so she's working away at the sink, and I said what I said, and she stopped. She says, "What did you say?" And so I said it again, just like it was no big deal, because I didn't really know what I was saying. And so as she tells the story, she had to kind of contain her laughter, calm herself down, and then kindly explain to me, "Now, Joel, that word isn't a word that we use." Anyway, so we had the conversation about the curse word, right? And there's another great kindergarten story. First day of kindergarten, I guess I get home from school, want to go ride my bike down the street, and 2 or 3 houses down, they like to edge their sidewalks. Well, the wheel of my bike got caught in the edging. Bam! I went down, and you can see the scar right there on my forehead to this day. And in fact, if you put your hand right there, you can actually feel there's a hole in my head. Right there. The bone that should be nice and round, it goes. Anyway, I remember crashing and burning on the sidewalk, and I just laid in the street crying. She had to run out, and I guess she heard me through the open front door and grabbed me and carried me back to the house. I remember her like getting up. Our front yard has got a hill, so she had to carry me up the hill, and we got Mr. Schwartz, and I remember sitting in the front seat of the Schwartzmobile between Herb and my mother, and like with a big old Band-Aid over my face, and the blood was on the sidewalk for years. I'm just saying. And another great story involving my bicycle that leaves a scar on my body to this day. I think I was in middle school, probably 7th or 8th grade, and I was riding my bicycle home from Stanley Park Senior Public School for lunch. And to think of kids going home for lunch now here is inconceivable. But I went home for lunch occasionally, or I guess most of the time. Anyways, as I was riding my bicycle home, I was whipping down Craig Drive toward the house, and I took my leg over the bicycle, so I was all on one side of the bicycle, and I was riding like this, and I was on my left foot, and my right foot was behind me, and I thought, I wonder if I can hop off of my left foot and onto my right foot while I'm whipping down the street. Well, I tried, and I failed, and I slid down to my knee. Bam! And I slid to a halt on my knee. And so if you can imagine a hole like that in my kneecap, and anyway, so I went running home, and mother had to bandage me up. Here's her 7th grade, son with a hole in his knee, and those were dark times. Of course, my mother ironed countless shirts for me over the years, countless in the laundry room, and made countless lunches. So grateful for all that. And I will say this about my mother. As I'm getting to the stage of my life where I am at, where my son Joshua is just getting ready to go off to college, and my daughter Grace has just been accepted into Dallas Baptist University, which is very exciting. She's got her senior year at high school, and then she'll be moving on. But my mother was always very supportive of whatever I chose to do, and sometimes that involved going away, and especially coming down here. And so when I had the opportunity to move from Canada to move down to Dallas, she was only supportive. And so as I get to this stage in my life, and I'm going through what I'm going through with my own kids, and I remember how she reacted when we were getting ready to make this move, and I think of how difficult that must have been for her. And so I just want to say thank you for your support and encouragement, and always just cheering us on, not trying to lock us down or keep us around or whatever it would have been, as much as I know you would have enjoyed that, both of you, my mother and my father. Very supportive of what I was doing. I remember when I changed, left high school, went to study math, and I studied math for 2 years, really more like a year and a half, and I didn't like it. And I ended up, with my mother's help, deciding to switch over to music. And I remember my father, I can only imagine the trepidation and the, oh, geez, the thoughts running through my dad's head when I wanted to switch from math to music. But I say, to his credit, he just said, I don't care what you study, just get that degree. And that was great advice, and that's advice I've given lots of people over the years as I work here at the school. It is possible to change a major but get that degree. So incredible support from both my parents with my maybe rather unorthodox plan that I chose for myself. But very supportive and grateful for them, and grateful for you. So I just wanted to sing a quick little song for you. And this is a hymn, one of my favorite hymns, and I guess one of your favorite hymns too. And when I think about our lives and your example of 60 years of marriage and the faithfulness that you have shown in that, faithfulness to each other, faithfulness to the Lord, and your faith and bringing up a Christian family, I'm grateful for it. So I just wanted to sing this for you now. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. So there it is. Happy anniversary. Wish we could be there with you, but we celebrate you today. Love you guys.